Most of us have gone through breakups, and regardless if you're the one being broken up with or you're doing the breaking up, the aftermath can be awkward to say the least. But there are a few rules that typically everybody follows once it's over. Lincold Riley broke one of those rules the other day when he pinned a "it wasn't you, it was me" letter to his former team at Oklahoma after bolting for USC a short time ago. In this letter, he wanted to reinforce his love for the school and how he never thought him and his family would leave, but the opportunity was just too good. Well, I have some news for you, Lincoln. Oklahoma's over you, man. Brent Venables has hit the ground running over there after putting together a great staff, including former Ole Miss OC Jeff Lebby, who just happens to be getting Dylan Gabriel ready, the USCF transfer quarterback, ready to play and have a big year over there. There's also a bunch of positivity in Norman in general right now. Venables has brought that tough mindset that encourages physicality and being willing to do the things necessary you have to finish the job defensively. You made your choice and you chose a different girl, which is all in your right. But don't write love letters after you see Oklahoma may not have needed you as badly as you thought. Like I said off the top, there's rules when breaking up. And this letter was even more overdone than the brisket Lincoln attempted to cook a couple months ago back. Riley will do good at USC. He's in a conference that doesn't have a dominant force right now, and he's at one of the biggest brands in the college football realm there with the Trojans. But this letter isn't a good look. It makes me think you may still have some leftover feelings you may need to express to, I don't know, Dr. Phil or somebody. But either way, you hitched your wagon to a different horse, so ride that one. And as far as Oklahoma's concerned, they aren't. Bring in David Cohn, Blaine as well. Why would you do this if you're Lincold Riley? Why would you do this? It's not a good look. Oklahoma doesn't care anymore. You're not mending any fences over there. And now to USC, why are you talking to your ex? Oh, we went out to dinner at a nice spot. You've treated me well. We're a new thing. We're in all the tabloids, TMZs, running around. It's paparazzi going on. And all of a sudden, pictures surface of a letter you wrote to your ex before we met up. Why do this?
Do it the week you make the decision. Or the week after you make the decision. I mean, if you're really that conflicted, look, all of us played, right? We had coaches who left, and it is difficult, and sometimes it's disappointing. And you two coached. You had to tell recruits and players that you were going to a different spot at times. I get it, because you bring these kids in, you're a father figure to them, it hurts. Just write this letter, pour everything out you have when you're making that decision. I know it was a busy time. Get this out of the way early. To revisit it now a few months later, it just seems a little...
Seem a little thirsty. But Blaine, this is like, to me, being with somebody in a serious relationship, okay? Deciding to move on to somebody else. It's not like you said, you know what, I want to be single for a while. I want to kind of hang out. You went and got married to somebody else. Okay, you got married to one of the prettiest girls at the bar in what USC is, in the college football realm. That's the truth. But that's like after you get back from your honeymoon, writing a letter saying, listen, I know the breakup didn't go as smooth as what we wanted to, but I'm still thinking about you, hoping that you're doing good. I feel like you're in good hands. It's like, man, just don't talk to me. Why are you sending messages to me? We're over it. Build a bridge. Get over it.
She's over you, dog.
She's over you, dog.
She's over you. Like, not even thinking about you. Move on.
Yeah.
Why is this so late? This is so late to me. This should have been done. And don't sit here and act like, well, you know, I really thought I was going to spend the rest of my career at Oklahoma. No, you weren't.
No.
You knew you weren't. The fact that Oklahoma decided to join the SEC, man, you don't want that smoke. Lincoln, you've never wanted that smoke. Run out there to the Pac-12 where you can be good on offense and mediocre on defense, go to the playoff and run into Bama and Georgia, and then get laughed for 4 quarters and get set out of there. That's fine. At Oklahoma, right now, I still like the way Oklahoma is going to be built from the defense to the offense. Backbone. Just backbone and guys who aren't scared to get on the field and not look at guys, oh, they're from the SEC, you better watch out. That team will be ready on every facet. But to me, I mean, did USC offer them everything they possibly had? They offered them the whole kitchen. Yeah, have you seen the man's house? Yeah. I don't blame him for going out there, but I feel like this is a little mix. And you knew this whole time, once USC came open, you knew you wanted to go there. So don't sit here and act like, well, she was my high school crush, and I thought we were going to stay together forever. I loved her. Don't play me, dog.
Like, you're the first girl I kissed. We're going to be together forever. Isn't that right? Again, I don't blame him for taking the USC route. I don't blame him. That's not what this is about. Like Blaine said, They gave you everything from the palm trees to the huge house. You can use the plane whenever you want. You'll get a ticket to the spaceship when the comet's coming to hit the Earth that goes to the other planet. Like, I don't know what else they could have given you. But what in you makes you want to do that? Like, do you think he was just sitting there in the office one day, like, and he just was like scrolling through his phone? There's like an old picture of like him next to the Boomer Sooner cart, and he just got a little like nostalgic. Again, if I'm a player on USC's team, I'm like, why are we doing this? I thought now we're supposed to dislike them a lot. I thought now there was a beef. I thought now they were the Jets and we were the Sharks, or we were the Sharks and they were the Jets. I thought it was on now, and now you're right. You're sending some Benedict Arnold letters through the mail talking about your love and how you miss him and how it didn't go down the way you wanted it to.
If you're USC, he'll do it to you too.
He'll do it. That's what I'm saying.
Sean McVay retires and takes that broadcaster job in a few years, Rams might call up.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You're already in LA.
Again,
here's my question though. 10 years, 10 seasons from now, who's better off, Oklahoma or USC?
Oklahoma.
I'm going to say Oklahoma.
I want to go Oklahoma too. Everything about me wants to say USC though, because I do think he'll have success there. I do think he can bring them back to prominence, but I'm just kind of pulling for the Sooners.
If we're talking about winning a natty, like if we're talking about
just overall, yeah.
You can say overall, but on the chase for the natty, I think Oklahoma will win one before USC does.
Okay. Yeah. Do you think maybe USC, he'll have more wins just because
he'll have more wins because he's in the Pac-12,
sure.
and Oklahoma's going to the SEC. But playing anything for the Boost Club, what are they saying?
GJ, Tommy says, Riley knew he was done in August. Realtor.com had his house for sale well before the season.
Realtor.com, plane tracker.
Yeah,
they can't
inside
track
info.
Santa.
You talking about insider trading? He's on it.
Yeah, they can't.
Got
a Martha
pegged.
Stewart situation. He's not just over there making the wicker baskets. We're finding out information.
They got him pegged.
I don't know if I'd go that early on it. I think because look, Lincoln's had chances to go to the NFL. You had earlier in his career at Oklahoma, you had damn near every NFL team fly out to Oklahoma and be like, hey, can you take us through your process? Because from a communication standpoint, calling plays, getting the offense going, being able to work out of multiple tempos, having a good play action game off your gap scheme run game, whether that's the power pass, off the play action, whatever. He's got the full bag on that. But to me, I still question if anybody outside of the SEC or a couple Big Ten teams, once they get to that Final Four, once they get to that playoff, it's already hard enough to get there, and you almost got to run the gauntlet out there in USC and now in the Pac-12, which is strength of schedule, if they can still compete when it comes out of the Final Four. Until, in my opinion, the playoff expands to 8, and we give it 4 or 5 years, you're going to continue to see the same movie over and over again. And I hate to be that guy. But you're going to see it. Guess what? Bet 2 SEC teams are in the playoff this year. Bet an SEC team wins the national championship this year. Bama's going to win it. I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys, Bama's going to win it. They just got Tyler Harrell from
I was about to read it. They just landed, yeah.
Yeah, like I sent out on social media. You talk about a guy that can take the top off. You ought to nickname him Spring Break or Mardi Gras, because I don't know which tops come off faster, him running the vertical or going down on Bourbon Street, or maybe down to Cabo during Spring Break, which I've done neither.
You sure?
Yeah, but Alabama's dominating the transfer portal too. You knew it was going to happen.
Yeah, why are we surprised?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised, but I don't think it was that early.
You're Lincoln Riley. You get paid all that. You get all this, and you get to duck the SEC. I'm out E3.
Listen, I like I said, I'm not sweating the flex. I mean, I don't think it was a bad move. What else, Blaine?
All right, BJPS says 09 says you all three are wrong. Well, please give us the right answer.
Appreciate your honesty.
Yes, absolutely.
Wait, was there nothing else on the comment?
No, just that.
Oh,
yeah, just
that.
You're just wrong in general.
Well, we appreciate your honesty.
Let's whittle it down.
Echo chambers are the worst.
Bacon Eater says USC will always choke no matter the head coach.
I mean, they didn't when Pete Carroll was there.
They did not.
I mean, they lost the Rose Bowl to Texas. I get that, but it's not like they didn't win.
Yeah, they drummed Oklahoma the year before.
You can win. Look, you can win at USC.
Auburn should have been that national.
But until they get good enough up front, and I don't want to beat a dead horse on this, that is what separates these teams. There's a lot of good skill players in the SEC and the Pac-12 and the Big Ten and the ACC, in the Sun Belt, in the MAC. There's a lot of good skill players. Where it separates is up front on the offensive line and the defensive line. It's not just your first 5 on the offensive line. It's not just your first 4 or 3 if you're playing a true 3 down, even though you're going to walk a jack down most of the time. It's the depth that you have. It's being able to, when you're injured and beat up, bring in other guys up front that can handle that edge rusher that may be an NFL guy. So that's what separates the SEC, in my opinion.
The thing about Lincoln, and you really look at it, the way he ran his offense was so new and did so well, but statistically, they did kind of get worse every year.
Well, I mean, yes, but again, you got to look at it in aggregate. You got to look at the players that he's been able to recruit at the quarterback position there at Oklahoma as well. So, look, Lincoln's going to be fine at USC. USC will be fine, but what is fine? I don't think they're going to win a national championship anytime soon because I don't think any team out of the Pac-12 is going to win a national championship soon. And honestly, the team out of the Pac-12 that has the best chance right now to make the playoff is Utah. It's Utah. People say Oregon. I got.
But from an odds-wise, from a betting
I've seen what
Right
Utah
now,
did to Oregon too. I watched what Utah did to Oregon last year. I know Oregon's quarterback, the Anthony Brown kid, wasn't fantastic. They got Bo Nix, a couple other options they're working on right now, but I still believe Utah's the best team in the Pac-12. I think they're the most physical team. But
well, one thing you did miss was their new head coach, Dan Lanning, who's a defensive.
I love Dan Lanning.
It's going to be
I love
a
Dan
whole
Lanning.
other mindset.
But Mario
Cristobal's
Cristobal's a pretty physical guy. That's a lot closer. It's a lot closer mindset, Dan Lanning at Oregon, than it is at Oklahoma with Lincoln Riley and Brent Venables. Those are two pretty different worlds. It's a similar world that Mario Cristobal and Dan Lanning somewhat operate in because Mario knows. Now, he was an offensive lineman.
He's an offensive guy.
Yeah, but he's a physicality up front guy. I think he understands that and puts an emphasis on both.
Okay, well,
More than Lincoln. Not that Lincoln doesn't know
I
that.
agree with that, but I mean, Dan Lanning schematically on defense will be different from a toughness aspect.
Yeah, but now
will be different. I don't think Utah is just going to run through Oregon like they did last year with Dan Lanning, and a lot of that had to do with Oregon couldn't move the ball against Utah, and I think Bo Nix is going to be a lot of fix to that problem because they had a quarterback who really couldn't throw the ball.
Well,
and Bo Nix can do both.
He's focused
and having fun.
Could be a dark horse. Hey, if you like that content, go ahead and subscribe. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, String in a Cup. As long as you're listening, we appreciate you. Go subscribe now. It's Crain & Company.